This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardenes, to use this as an educational material. Our topic is all about the introduction to the concept of globalization and also the central themes of globalization includes capitalism, governance, culture, and history as driving forces of globalization, and also the theories of globalization like liberalism, political realism, Marxism, constructivism, postmodernism, feminism, transformationalism, and eclecticism. But before we tackle those lectures, let's go to the learning objectives. So first is understand the concept of globalization. Second is understand the central themes of capitalism, governance, culture, and history as driving forces of globalization. And lastly is to know the 8 theories of globalization. I'm Justin J. Marquit, and my topic is all about the introduction to the concept of globalization. But before that, I have a question for you. Have you tried to listen in YouTube or Spotify? Did you have craves for McDonald's or Jollibee's? Do you have accounts like Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter? And if you answer yes, then you are not alone. I'm also into this. We all observe this trend to among like us, teenagers. So this means we are living in a contemporary world. So what is contemporary world? Contemporary world means the modern world or present world that we are living. Moving on with that. So let's see the definition of globalization. So globalization is the increasing interaction of people, states, or countries through the growth of international flow of money, ideas, and cultures. Those globalization is primarily focused on economic process of integration that has social and cultural aspects. The key term of this is interaction. The globalization has interaction with the people, so there is what we call socialization. So what is socialization? Socialization is sharing with ideas and information between and through different countries. So in today's world, we use internet and social media as interacting with the people in other countries. Next is cultural. So what is cultural? Cultural refers to the spread of culture throughout the world. For example, here in the Philippines, we love eating foods and we spend money so that we get the satisfaction that we want. And also, I saw that there are a lot of Korean restaurants here in the Philippines. And also some of Filipinos loves to eat Korean foods. So we are adopting their kinds of foods. My other topic is the central themes of globalization includes capitalism. So let's go to the definition of capitalism. Capitalism is often thought of as an economic system in which actors own and control the property in accord with their interests. Demand and supply fairly set prices in the markets in a way that can serve the best interests of society. The essential feature of capitalism is to motivate to make a profit. So, from the word capital, puhunan, if, for example, if I am the entrepreneur and I have a higher capital, so that means I have a higher production and I control the property that I own. I can sell the product that I own based on the set prices in the markets so that we can serve what's the best for our society. Then capitalism requires future to make a profit. So what is profit? Profit is the amount earned or financial gain in a business.
Governance. Governance identifies the power independence involved in the relationship between institution involved is collective action. Organization are dependent upon each other to achievement of collective action and those must exchange resources and negotiation share understanding of ultimate program goals. For example, economic integration, globalization has led to the expansion of international trade and the integration of national economics into the global market. This is has this is a this is related as development of international economic institution and agreement such as the World Trade Organization and Free Trade Agreement. Cultural globalization refers to the transmission of ideas, meaning and values around the world in the such way as extend and incentivize social, religious. This process is marked by common consumption of cultures that have been diffused by the internet, population, media, and international travel. For example, cultural exchanges, globalization has facilitated that exchange of ideas, belief, values, and practice between different countries, increased travel, migration, and communication technologies have allowed people to encounter, engage with the diverse cultural tradition.
History as driving force of globalization. Cultural exchange has been one of the biggest drivers of globalization. People travel to different countries and share their cultural beliefs and practices with each another. Through this process, a cultural understand takes place which drives globalization. There are eight theories of globalization. First, theory of liberalism. Liberalism says the process of globalization as market-led extension of modernization at the most elementary level. It is a result of natural human desire for economic welfare and political liberty. As such, transplanetary conductivity is derived from the human drives to maximize material well-being and to exercise basic freedom. This force eventually interlinked humanity across the planet. Liberalism explained that is a political morality philosophy based the rights of individual liberty consists of government political equality and equality before the law. Liberals expose various views depending on their understanding of this principle. Example kanang same sa laing nasod same si example sa laing nasod same sex marriage naman na sila okay na sila kay naman sila freedom gani sa ganang gobyerno. These examples are largely drawn from business studies, economic, international, political, economy, law, and politics. Liberal emphasize the importance of creating institutional infrastructure, facilities, globalization. All of this result in technical standard administration, harmonies on language translator, policies construct the law of property rights. However, its advocates overlook the social dynamics that derive the development of technological and institutional foundation. It cannot be assumed that all people are equally open to and of growing globalization in their life. Theory of political realism. Advocates of this theory are interested in question of state power, the pursuit of national. To them, states are inherently acquisitive and self-serving and heading for inevitable stand for balance of power where any attempt by one state of achieve world dominance is countered by collecting resistance from states. Theory of political realism explained that political realism assumes that interests are to be maintained through the exercise of power and that the world is characterized by competing power bases. In international politics, most political theories emphasize the nation state as the relevant agent where Marxists focus on classes. Political realism is power-based philosophy that aims to explain international interaction. Globalization has also been explained as strategy in contest for power between several major states in contemporary world. They concentrate on the activities of Great Britain, China, France, Japan, the USA, as some other larger states. Thus, the political realism highlight the issues of power and power struggles, the roles of state in generating global relations. Globalization is seen as the territorial states of various levels. They argue that states not equal in the globalization process, with some dominant and others subordinate. However, they fail to recognize that everything in globalization does not revolve on the acquisition, distribute, and exercise of power.
So my topic is all about Marxism, constructivism, and postmodernism. So first, Marxism is principally concerned with modes of production, social exploitation through unjust distribution, and social emancipation through the transcendence of capitalism. So Marx himself anticipated the growth of globality that capital by its nature drives beyond every special barrier to conquer the whole earth for its market. So accordingly, to Marxist globalization happens because transworld connectivity enhances opportunities of profit making and surplus accumulation. So about this theory, my understanding is of this theory is Marxism as a socio-economic and political theory uh, developed by Karl Marx, and it has had impact on our globalization in several ways. So it offers a critical perspective on capitalist globalizations and emphasizes the role of class struggle
and exploitation. So, example of this impact to our globalization is capitalist globalization critique. So, Marxisms provide a critical analysis of capitalist globalizations, arguing that is perpetuates inequality, exploitation, and class divisions. So it sees globalizations as a process of driven by the expansion of capital and the pursuit of profit, of, often at the expense of workers' rights and social welfare. The second is constructivism. Globalization has also arisen because of the way that people have mentally constructed the social world with particular symbols, language, images, and interpretation. It is the result of particular forms and dynamics of consciousness, patterns of production of the governance and second order of structures that derive from the deeper cultural and socio-psychological forces, such as accounts of globalizations have come from the fields of anthropology, humanities, media studies, and sociology. So, constructivism has an impact on our, on our understanding of globalizations. So, through emphasizing the role of ideas, norm, and social interactions in shaping global processes. So, constructivism challenges traditional approaches that focus solely on material factors such as economics and power dynamics. So, example of this impact or globalization is social construction of reality. So, constructivism argues that reality is socially constructed through the shared of meanings, norms, and beliefs that individuals and societies develop. So, this perspective challenges the notion of a fixed and objective reality, highlighting the importance of ideas and discourse in shaping global interaction. And three is the theory of postmodernism. So this mode of knowledge has authoritarian expansionary logic that leads to a kind of cultural imperialism, subordinating all other epistemologies. So it does not focus on the problem of globalization per se. In this way, Western rationalism over with indigenous cultures and other non-modern life forms. So, postmodernism, like Marxism, helps to go beyond the relatively superficial accounts of liberalist and political realist theories and the expose of social conditions that have favored exposure, favored globalization. Obviously, postmodernism suffers from its own mythological idealism. So, my understanding about these theories, and this is the impact of postmodernism to globalization. So postmodernism had a significant impact on our understanding of globalizations by challenging the modernist conception conceptions of process, universal truths, and stable identities of postmodernism emphasizes the fluidity, fragmentation, and cultural diversity of globalizations, of globalized world. So the So these are some examples of impact of postmodernism to our globalization. First is the construction of grand narratives. So postmodernism critiques the notion of a grand narrative of a singular truth that explains the course of history or of the nature of society. It challenges the idea of globalization's a linear and progressive process and highlights the multiple and contract- contradictory narratives that exist in the global context. And also, postmodernism had influenced our understanding of globalizations by emphasizing the complexity, diversity, and the cultural dynamics at play in the globalized world. So it challenged the idea of a singular, homogeneous global culture and recognized the importance of local context, cultural expressions, and the agency of individuals and communities. So, however, it is worth nothing that postmodernism's life has been subject to criticism and debate, and its impact on globalization. It's a topic of ongoing.
Theory of feminism. So feminism is the range of socio-political movement and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. Feminism holds the position on that society prioritizes the male point of view, that women are treated unjustly in this society. Furthermore, the advocacy feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Furthermore, it puts emphasis on social construction of masculinity and femininity. Uh, all other theories have identified the dynamics behind the rise of transplanetary and supra-territorial connectivity in technology, state, capital, identity, and the like. Biological sex is held to mold the overall social order and shape significantly the course of history, presently globality. Their main concern lies behind the status of women, particularly their structural subordination to men. Women have tended to be marginalized, silenced, or capped. They are prohibited to do such things, some things that they are capable of doing so, and violated in global communication. Theory of transformationalism. Transformationalists argue that globalization should be understood as a complex set of interconnection relationships through which power is mostly exercised indirectly. They argue that the flow of culture is not one way from the West to the developing world. It is a two-way exchange in which Western culture is also influenced, changed, and enriched by cultures in the developing world. Transformationalists also believe that globalization can be reversed, especially where it is negative, or at the least, or at the very least, that it can be controlled. Examples of supporting evidence for the transformationalist view of globalization include increasing cultural hybridity, and detraditionalization. Lastly, theory of electricism. Electricism proposed that globalization includes materials and ideational, ideational elements. In expanding social relation, people explore their class, their genders, their nationalities, their race, their religious faith, and other aspects of their being. This theory implied extensive source of ideology. Um, Accordingly, capitalists attempt to amass ever greater resource in excess of their survival needs. Accumulation of surplus. The capitalist economy is thoroughly monetized. Money facilitates accumulations. It offers abundant opportunities to transfer surplus, especially from the weak to the powerful. This mode of production involves perpetual and pervasive contest over the distribution of surplus. Such competition occurs both between individuals, firms, etc., and along structural lines of class, gender, and many more. Uh, Electricism is a conceptual approach that does not hold or rigidly to a single paradigm or set of assumptions, but instead draws upon multiple theories, styles, or ideas to gain complementary insights into a subject or applies different theories in particular cases. Uh, what is an example of electricism? Electricism is a use of many unrelated items in different items to form a whole. For example, in interior design, this could mean using items from different styles of decoration to create an interesting effects, such as mixing antiques and modern pieces for a specific look.